everybody. Thank you for being here and tuning into another fun edition. My God, that's so loud. I can't hear myself. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for being here for another fun edition of Deborah Kobylt Live and for playing Bruno Mars for one of my favorite guests. Today we have in studio, I'm honored to have him, Tim Conway Jr.
Thank you, man. Deborah, how are you?
How are you, babe? And for people who might not know who you are, and I have a feeling you would be living under a rock if you don't, Tim Conway Jr. hosts the popular radio show, The Tim Conway Jr. Show. Very unique.
Thank you.
On KFI Radio. You've been on radio out here for almost 20 years.
Over 20 years now. Almost 21 years. How about that?
Yeah, you're staying power. I'm impressed.
All right.
Yeah, you're pretty amazing. You've won a Golden Mike Edward R. Murrow Award. That's pretty impressive, I got to tell you.
Thank you.
You got the Marconi last year, 2016.
Well,
for Personality of the Year.
We got a Marconi nomination, and then I flew to Tennessee, and they gave it to some other a-hole.
Oh. Then your bio said you got one. I got to look that up.
Oh, no. The bio says a lot of things.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily
Who the hell's
true.
writing this stuff? And lastly, obviously, son to Tim Conway.
Thank you very much.
I have to tell you, I spent my whole night laughing and reminiscing just looking at all the Tim Conway clips. We'll get to Dad later.
That's great.
Because, you're in here to talk about yourself for about a couple minutes, and then we'll go to Dad. How's
All right.
that?
Let's first of all talk about you and John Kobylt.
Me?
All right.
I'm not that interesting.
Listen, everybody wants to know, first of all, you guys met in Atlantic City, right?
Wait a minute. Who's turning the tables here? I
No,
don't
wait
understand.
a minute. Hold on. You met in Atlantic City when you were like a hot 21-year-old like anchor, right?
Yeah.
Is that true?
What is going on? Why don't you have me on your show for this? What are you coming on mine to talk about?
People
me?
want to know. People
Oh,
want to know what
God.
happened back there.
Okay. Oh,
All right. So
geez.
you worked as a weekend anchor or a weekday anchor?
I was an esteemed weekend anchor on WMGM TV in Atlantic
How old
City.
were you?
Early 20s. I don't know, 21.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. At 21, you probably had an ego the size of
Donald
Donald Trump, right?
Which is when they wrote an article about me in Atlantic City magazine, they said that I had an ego as big as Donald Trump. Some things have just never changed. I did not vote for him, though, guys, so please don't hit me up on that one.
All right. But so wait. So how did you meet John? Was he in radio by then?
He was in radio, and
Was he with Ken? Was he working with Ken?
He literally had just started with Ken. What is going on? This show, I'm
I
telling
want
you
to know
right now.
because he never talks about anything.
Okay, he doesn't.
He talks about taxes.
You really should have me on yours, but let's take this with wherever you want to go
Okay.
with it.
So wait. So he's working with Ken Shampoo, right?
He just started working with Ken. He came from some dumpy station in upper state New York, and he worked for an even dumpier station in Atlantic City.
Right.
He saw me through a window, and he goes, "Oh, bring her in here." And I'm thinking, ugh, who is
That's
this?
great. What a move that is.
What a move. That man was smooth.
Bring her in here.
Yeah, bring her in here, he said. And we have it on tape, though, and I had just covered
You have it on video or audio?
audio, and
Let's play the tape.
Oh, you got to have me on your show for that. No, I just covered the Mike Tyson fight like the night or two before, and I'm like, how do you not know who I am?
That's great.
I covered Mike Tyson for WMGM TV, and I was
It's an ego fest.
big.
Hey, so wait, you met him. He was working at the radio station. You were working at the TV station, and was it love at first sight?
No, not for me anyway. No, I thought he was odd, smart. I could tell he was really, really smart,
Right.
and I just thought, fun guy to go out bike riding with or something. So,
What was the first date?
bike riding?
Oh, bike riding, really?
I like to
Was that
bike.
his last time on a bike?
No, when we moved out here, we bought a couple bikes, and
Right.
he likes to bike ride actually. So
You couldn't tell. He hates bike riders on the air. Hey, but Donald Trump. Wait, you got to New York because of Donald
what happened
Trump.
to my interview?
Wait a minute. Wait.
Okay.
Donald Trump. He didn't grab you, did he?
No, he was actually very nice to me. He tried to help me get a job in New York City.
Did he hit on you?
No, which means maybe I was an ugly 21-year-old. No, he was actually very, very, very nice with me. He just.
But he got you to New York City?
You really want to know this story? I'll tell it really fast.
Okay, really fast.
We were covering the bankruptcies, one of many that he had gone through in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and everybody was running after him, down the stairs. Donald, what does it feel like now that you're in bankruptcy and the banks gave you... And I just, little old me from the back, 20-year-old girl, I'm like, hey, how are you going to live on that $450,000 allowance they gave you, Donald? And he thought it was a funny question.
That's great.
And he turned around and he goes, who said that? And I said, me. And he goes, move over, fellas, bring her to the front. So,
wow, look at you.
I was like, hey, all right. But no, I never found him attractive. Didn't really particularly care for him. But we had a sort of a business kind of relationship whenever he came to town. I would cover him at one of his casinos. And yeah, he once said to me, "Why are you down here in this little tiny place?" I said, "Because it's my first job."
And he got you a job in New York City?
He got me a phone number to call at a station in New York City, and I did not get that job. But that guy then said, "Call this guy over there." So that's what I did. And then I called guy number 2, and that's how I got it. So no, I will not attribute my first job to him. He just sort of helped get the ball rolling.
Right, but he got you. If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have been in New York City.
Hell no, I would have gotten there one way or another.
Right, but you didn't have, ultimately you didn't vote for him, though. I mean, he gets you a job in New York City, you don't vote for him.
He didn't get me a job. He got me a little interest.
All right.
But no, I didn't vote for him. But why did you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You did?
Oh, yeah. And
No,
I'll vote for him again.
I didn't.
And I don't care about the emails.
No, I don't care. I have people on all sides. Tony, please keep running my board because I know you're not a Trump guy. He's like looking like, ugh. But I have to live with someone who voted for Trump. I don't dislike him. He was very kind to me when I knew him.
But you did say about 5 minutes ago, John was one of the smartest people you've ever met.
I did not.
He said he was very smart.
Oh, you're right. He was very smart on the air.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's a very smart guy. The man spends day and night reading on his iPad. I mean, he could be in the bathroom, and I'm like, John, and if I walk in, there he is reading on his iPad. He's a very smart guy.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean,
and he voted for Trump.
He did vote for Trump.
Okay.
He did.
But maybe he has some blind spots. Is that possible?
About what? Me or Donald Trump?
I don't know. Not about you, but about Donald Trump. All right, let's get back to it. I'm sorry. I took you off course there because people want to know. People want to know how the two of you met. He never talks about it.
You have 2 or 3 more people listening to your show than me, so have me on yours.
We'd love to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I am a great guest, as you can see. On my own show, I'm a great guest. Mr. Conway.
Thank you very much.
Tell me a little bit about
By the way, the name tag.
I love that because we almost threw him out. We didn't know who he was, so the fact that he has a little name tag, Sunset Gower Studios, we can identify you. We know who you are, and if you don't behave, we could throw you the hell out of here. So.
I pulled up on Gower and I did a U-turn. To get a parking spot because you gotta act quickly to get these spots.
Oh, it's horrifying.
You can't you can't just mosey around and try to find one. So I did one, and there's a cop sitting right across the street on a motorcycle.
Like this, please God, please don't give me a ticket. I can't be late for Deborah's show. Don't do it.
And he looks at me, and I look at him, and I stop thinking, okay, he's gonna give me a ticket, right?
Yeah, you look too nice.
And he looks at me and he starts laughing. Like, how the hell did you do that kind of U-turn knowing I was sitting here? And he didn't give me a ticket.
He was on his coffee break. There's a
must have been.
There's a Starbucks right across from here. He was not moving from his break. So I'm sorry, Mr. Tim Conway Jr. I got to ask you. So I know what it's like living with like radio obsessed people because I live with one.
Right.
I'm told that as a little kid in your house, you'd be on the old time CB radios talking to the truckers. So that was like your first entree into radio. Is that right?
Yeah, I was at 9 years old. I asked my dad to take me to Radio Shack, and I got a
Are
CB.
they still in business? Radio
No, I don't
Shack?
think they are.
Yeah, I don't think
But
so.
I got a CB, and I put the antenna on top of the house, and I spent all night talking to truck drivers on the 101.
What would you say? What would you say to the truck drivers?
Well, you just, you ask them what their handle is, where they're hauling, where they're going, where they came from, the whole run. And then I thought to myself, like 2 weeks ago when I thought about this, wait a minute, my dad let me talk at 9 years old, let me talk to truck drivers all night?
It's kind of like what people
What's
are doing.
going on with that guy?
Yeah, I don't know. That guy was slacking off,
Yeah,
that dad of yours.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like a young kid now talking to people
On
the internet,
Facebook, right, yeah.
Or whatever, late at night. I will go in my kid's room. One of them used to play chess with kids, somebody else. I'm like, don't do that. You don't know who's on the other end. He could be trying to, kidnap you. And they're like, oh, my God, Mom, leave the room.
Yeah, but he wasn't playing shirtless and sending him pictures. He was just playing chess.
Plus, there were no pictures when you were doing this CB thing.
That's right.
But,
no pictures, right.
Just a guy going down the 101.
I enjoyed
lonely man talking to a 9-year-old child in Burbank, California.
I enjoyed it. My dad had, the Carol Burnett show, very popular show at, in its heyday. And I would rather go with him to when he did the morning show on KABC or on Larry King Live. I loved radio.
Let's call it. There's a real mystique to radio, because you're still telling that story and people have to visualize what's going on. And,
well, plus there's not many people in your life.
Yeah.
If you do a TV show, there's 900 people in your life, and everybody has an opinion. The makeup person, the wardrobe guy, the director, the writer, the producer, everybody's telling you what to do. In radio, there's nobody telling you what to do.
Yeah, what did I say earlier? In radio, you could just stay home and do the show in your underwear. Nobody would know the difference.
That's exactly right.
It's all about the voice.
Yes, exactly.
It's all
Look
about,
at you.
It's all about
How
the
wealthy
voice.
are you and John?
Very.
How much do you guys own? Do you have several houses?
Many.
And how? Seriously, are
I'm
you in
gonna
the?
screw with you now.
Are you
What?
in the tens of millions, 20s of millions?
No, for all the people watching, I really would prefer to not have my house get robbed. Very little. We don't have much. All of our
Are those
money-
earrings real?
No.
They're not.
No, most of our money actually goes toward kids' educations, and that's
Yeah.
the truth.
And you got 3 kids, 3 beautiful boys, right?
3 boys. How many do you have?
I have 1 daughter, and I'm with you. I'm
We live
dreading.
simply.
I'm dreading the day that she goes to college. I'm trying to knock her grades down where she can't get in anywhere other than Pierce.
I know. One of them is in Boston, and I miss him all the time, and I probably call too much because
How often do you call him? Every day?
No, a couple of times a week, and he's like, he doesn't answer my text, and then I get. We talked on the way in.
Stop
here.
paying his phone bill. He'll answer.
But see, that's the kind of mom I am. I'm like, look, you don't want to return my text or phone call. You could pay your own tuition and get your own whatever. But John's like, no. You know, that's how boys are. I'm like, I don't care. I
Right.
want a phone call. So boy number 1 doesn't call or text too much, but we're close. Although he says I'm a pain in the neck. Boy number 2 is up in Northern California in school, and we had a great time. I drove him back to school. He has a fish. So I'm like, oh, they're going to dump the fish. So let me drive you up there. I'll do almost anything to be able to be near them, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
the fish is my excuse to put the fish and the son in the car to drive him up there. Do you get
Right.
my point?
Oh, I get it. No.
Yeah. So then he's gone, and I haven't really heard from him maybe once or twice in the past week or 2. So
Right.
I'm going through serious withdrawal. My 16-year-old is home, and I'll do anything. You know, what time is practice? I'll pick you up. No, it's okay, Mom. I'll walk. No. You have that big baseball bag. So
That's great.
I'm Italian, and I grew up where you call your mom 6-7 times a day,
Right.
even just to say, "What are you
Absolutely.
doing?" Nothing, and you're actually just on the phone with each other, not even like talking to each other.
Are you the kind of mom that puts the pot on? Do you make sauce? Are you a cook? Did you cook?
Okay, here we go.
You
I
don't
have a
cook.
large Italian family. It passed me over.
Oh, it did.
I was the young one. It was like, Deborah, you're a pest. Get out. So I was the one who made a mess, dropped everything on the floor. Again, this is turning into my interview. You are very, very good at this, Mr. Tim Conway
No, people
Jr.
want to know what's good. People don't care about my life.
I'm telling you. No, but I do. That's why I'm having you on here. I don't have people who are not interesting to me. For the
Thank you very much.
millions of listeners that are listening to my show, you know what an incredible demographic that I have.
Absolutely. How long
that's-
have you been doing the show?
A couple of years, really. But I've just been doing it more for fun. I really need to get it out there more and publicize
You know,
it.
by the way, I think it's the generation of maybe your generation, maybe the next generation. It's the generation of women that brag at parties on how they're unable to cook. You know, I heard
No,
this the
not
other
me.
night at
Not
a
me.
party where a woman said, "Oh, I can't boil an egg." You really? I can't even toast, bread.
You know
I'm like, wait a
what?
minute, you're bragging? You can't cook?
Yeah, not
What the hell's
me.
wrong with you?
Yeah, I think there's something. I try. Here's the difference. I do try. And I think cooking, sewing, all those things are more important. than almost
Absolutely.
any- and I really do mean that. Like, I say that all the time. Now, my 3 boys can cook pretty well. 'Cause
That's
I
great.
made sure that
Does
they
John
could.
cook?
Not that well, and we eat very differently. He's a cheeseburger, spaghetti, pizza kind of guy.
Right.
And
He eats like a child.
he is like a child. Believe me, it's very difficult.
He
Thank you.
probably gets like taquitos when he goes to a. That's what I get. A friend of mine, he says,
Right now, he's at a pierogi restaurant having lunch before. You could tell him that when you walk in. He's having pierogies somewhere in Glendale.
he's not going to eat that. But I had a friend of mine called me, Detective Rudy Alvarez, LAPD, and says, I know the best Mexican restaurant in L.A. Now, when somebody says the best Mexican restaurant in L.A., you go, right? It's,
Yeah,
you know, this
why
is,
not?
you know, I don't know if you've noticed, there are a lot of Mexican restaurants.
One
He
or
knows the
two.
best.
1 or 2.
So I go and I order taquitos. You know, I like taquitos.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you, 12? What's wrong with you? You're supposed to eat what real Mexican people eat. Come on.
What do real Mexican people eat? The beans?
I guess not taquitos, right?
Not taquitos. No, that's an American Mexican thing,
That's
right?
exactly right. Hey, speaking of the Carol Burnett Show, I know you want to get into this.
Can we what? Can we do a clip of your dad? Or
Sure, you want to do that?
wanna talk
Absolutely,
first?
yeah. Well, I want to run the clip, and then I'll tell you a great James Worthy story.
Okay, let's
All right,
run a clip
let's
of your
go.
dad. Wait, I just have to say before you run this thing, I spent much of my night with John watching so many.
That's what he
clips from
says.
your
Yeah,
dad.
he says he watches like Johnny Carson all night. You know, he comes in the next day and says, "Hey, I watched Johnny Carson last night with your dad." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty
No,
cool."
it's actually a divide in our marriage. I'm like, I don't want to see Johnny Carson before I come up to bed. I don't want to see him.
Do you guys go to bed at the same time?
I don't require a lot of sleep. Never have. No.
Really?
He goes a little earlier, depending upon what's going on.
Yeah,
that
I think
night.
couples are real. If they go to bed at the same time, there's an issue. There's something going on there.
Is that right?
Yeah, I
Something
think if,
hopefully good going on there.
no, there's something weird going on.
Really?
Like if they go to bed at the same time every night, there's an odd thing going on there. Strange.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
All right.
Yeah,
So you want me to set the clip up?
set up the clip.
Okay.
This is your dad.
This is the dentist sketch, and this actually happened to my father in the Army. He was stationed up in Seattle, and as he said, you know, in the Korean War, Seattle never got attacked, you know. But he went to a dentist, and the dentist pushed a needle full of a syringe full of Novocaine through his mouth. He was pulling a tooth and into his hand, into the dentist's hand.
Oh, I love it.
And so his hand became limp.
So this really happened to him.
This actually happened to him, yeah.
Because his physical comedy is, I think, probably the best I've ever seen.
I think he's right
ever.
up there, yeah.
Not up
and
there,
but you know,
the best.
but he says that he stole everything from Don Knotts. If you ask him, he says everything he does, he stole from Don Knotts.
Don Knotts was terrific.
Yeah, Don Knotts is great.
I won't take anything from him, but I love your dad. Okay, let's go ahead. Can we talk?
Here we go.
We could talk over it, right? Okay.
Sure, I guess.
Okay, Novocaine. Here we are, Novocaine. Take a firm hold of the hypodermic needle. Right.
How classic is that? Is that the kind of talk you want?
You can
Over
say
the clip?
anything you want.
There'll be a little bit of pain, and then numbness will set in.
Harvey Korman wet his pants during this.
Harvey Korman probably wet his pants every week. I love Harvey Korman too.
My dad eventually opened up a cleaners near CBS and made a killing off of just Harvey.
Off of Harvey's pants.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll get right to it.
You can see Harvey lose it.
I'll just give you a little shot here.
I've seen this a million times. And it's still right. You know, they show this.
No, there it goes in his leg. I thought that was just great. But so much of this.
They show this at USC at the dental school at USC on the very first day, and they say this is exactly what you shouldn't do as a dentist.
Yeah, I'll be right with you.
Anyway, so James.
I guess we can take it down.
All right, so James Worthy, you know, sweet James Worthy, right?
Absolutely. For those people who don't know, why don't you explain?
Lakers. He also played for North Carolina. He won championships with North Carolina. He also won championships with the LA Lakers. He made millions and millions of dollars in the NBA. I ran into him. He was up at doing KLAC for Petros and Money, which is the afternoon show at KLAC, 570 AM in Los Angeles.
The sports guys.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah,
they're great.
Listen, I always say if I started a radio station, I'd start with those two guys. But so James Worthy is there, and I want to meet him because there are very few people in life I'd really love to meet. He's one of them. So I met him, and he says, Conway, is your dad Tim Conway? I said, yeah. And he says, let me tell you something. I've won championships in the NBA, championships in college, MVP, All-Star, but millions of dollars. He said, I would give it all away for one more hour in North Carolina with my grandmother on the couch watching the Carol Burnett show.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That must have made your hair stand up, right?
It was unbelievable. I
I
think about it, and my skin, the hair on my skin is rising. The heat is rising.
Because a lot of guys like you who grew up with really well-known, legendary performers, sometimes they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes maybe they don't get along with that. But this is not your case at all. You and your dad are super close.
He was absolutely the funniest man in the world. Here's an example. He never yelled at me. I've never heard the man swear in his life.
Wow.
And I had a curfew. I've told the story on the air. So if you heard it on the air, it's time to grab a cigarette.
I don't think I did that one. But go ahead. I've got my cigarette.
So he had a curfew. I had a curfew of midnight in high school. Right? Pretty good, right?
Yeah,
midnight in high school.
Yeah.
So I get home around, 6:30 in the morning. And I get in, I shut the alarm off, I get into bed, I fall asleep. At 9 o'clock, he comes and knocks on my door. He says, what time did you get home last night? I said, I don't know, 11:58-ish or so. And he says, okay. And he says, it's sort of odd. And I said, why is that? And he says, well, the LA Times gets delivered at 5 in the morning. And then he walks away. And I said, wait a minute. I said, but what does that have to do with me? He says, your car's parked on it. and it was on the Sunday Times, which used to be like 4 inches thick, and I'm parked on the Times.
Oh, so that's how he handled it.
That's how he knew, right?
You
And he
knew.
didn't swear at me. He didn't say, you a-hole, told you, but punish me. He never punished me. He just told
I'm
me.
that one who will go, you came in late. See, that's
Right.
a lesson to parents. Do you hear that? That's a great lesson.
It's a great lesson.
He got the job done.
Right. I
You
never
knew
was
it
late
happened.
again.
You felt like a jerk for lying
Felt like an
to him.
a-hole,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Lying to him. But he did it as Dorf, which I thought was odd. It's sort of strange.
Did you guys get along? I mean, wait a minute. You've got an older sister.
I have an older sister and 4 younger brothers.
right?
Yeah, and
so,
when
what kind of household was that? Was it a bunch of jokes all day? Were you punching each other? What was it like?
It was jokes all day. You have
Really?
to, you pull a number and it's your turn every 6 minutes. No, it was my dad finally had enough of my mom when I was around 14 or so, and so he moved out, and I moved with him because my mom was a little crazy. And I moved with him, so she had the 4 boys and my sister. She had 5. My dad had 1. Because my dad was running a much different program than my mom at the time, and I thought that was a great.
So you went with him.
I went with my dad, right?
And the other boys stayed.
They
with
all
her?
stayed. Well, they were young.
Wow.
They were all between 10 and 6. Or you can't make a decision at 6 that you go with your dad. But I remember going back to my mom's house to get my clothes, and she threw them all out of the second-story window.
She did that to the kid, to you
to
as
me.
a kid?
Yeah, she goes, here's all your crap. Boom, and threw everything onto the
Oh,
lawn.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Listen, I think I've gotten over it. I really haven't. I'm not even close to getting over it.
That's why he's bringing it up here, guys.
That's exactly right.
He needs
Full
therapy.
therapy, yeah.
So we're going to try and help him out if he feels like he needs it, or if the conversation goes there.
Ding dong! By the way, I was told I have to do that for some reason.
What?
Sharon Bellio said when you're there with Deborah, do
Clap?
a ding dong. No,
Do
do a ding dong.
Okay.
Ding dong with you.
Go ahead, please.
But
Do-
it's an old saying from the racetrack. You ever been to the racetrack?
You know what? Once
You're
or
like a
twi-
New Jersey girl.
Whoa, you. Would you like to hear my time at the racetrack? Please,
Yes.
please ask John this
Please.
too.
Did he take you to the track?
He took me to the track in
Wow.
New Jersey. I'd love to go with you. Do you go to Delano?
Oh yeah.
Where do you go?
Well, in New Jersey, one with Belmont or Mammoth or even the OTB. It smells like urine, but it's great.
I don't remember where we were. We went to the racetrack, and I picked the number 1 horse, jockey, whatever, 5 times out of 6 races.
Oh, he
5.
told me that. He told me that.
And because I would look at all their statistics, and I'm pretty good at math, and I would add it all up and say, okay, in this race he did this one he did that, blah, blah, blah. And then I would just say, that's your guy. And I
Right.
knew nothing about racing.
And you
I-
never went again?
No, I'm not a gambler. I don't like to gamble at all because I have a feeling if I did, I would compulsively do it and give half my mony away. So I stay away.
Right.
It's like,
but
it's like an alcoholic.
but look, the only thing worse about being, worse than getting, photoed out at the finishing line at Santa Anita is not having any money on the race.
We
Horse
were
racing.
so poor, we had no money to put on these races.
Well, now you do. You got a big, huge house. You've got 2 kids in college. John's making a shitload of money. Why don't you go to the track?
Okay, will you? Can
I'll
we
go to the track
you?
with you. If you can pick 5 out of 6, I'll
I'm
quit my
telling you,
job.
I did, and I think I went one other time out here, and I picked all the winning ones. I just look at them statistically. Now,
You know what you should do? This is what you should do. This is what Deborah, you should do. You should go to you should go to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, and this is what you should say at the Gamblers Anonymous meeting.
Oh my gosh!
I'm Deborah Kobylt. I'm here at the Gamblers because I have a problem, and then tell people that you went to the racetrack. You only twice in your life. You won $10,000 the first time, $40,000 the second time, and you think you have a problem that might eventually cripple your marriage or your life. And watch the people rush the stage and choke you to death. Because everybody in there is broke.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, but that's why I don't do it. I don't know. I don't.
You should do it.
Okay, I will go with you.
I'll go with you.
I seriously will.
I'll
I
go
don't
with
know if
you.
you take the whole family, the daughter, the wife. I'll go.
No,
with you.
are you nuts?
No,
When's the
yes.
last time you've seen that? I used to take my daughter with me to the track, and I have stopped because one day I'm taking my daughter to the zoo, right, to the LA Zoo, and I said to my wife, I'm taking my daughter to the zoo. I get to the zoo, and it's freebie day, where everybody goes for free. So the line
There's
is
many of those.
there's
Oh, yeah.
2 or 3 days
You
a
need
year.
to be a member to get on another line.
I know, but there's 2 or 3
Yeah.
days a year where they let everybody in, and now the line is 9 miles to get in the zoo. So I said, screw it, let's go to the track.
We're going to the race. The heck
we go to the
with
track.
The animals. We're going to the racetrack.
We saw plenty of animals at the track. So we go to the racetrack, and Mike Willman, who runs the track, one of the guys who runs it out there, he says, hey, the guy that was going to present the trophy in the 8th race is not here. Can you present the trophy to the winner of the 8th race? And I said, okay. So Doug O'Neill wins the 8th race, a buddy of mine.
Wow.
I give the trophy, and my cell phone rings, and it's my wife. And she says, she goes, hey, how's the zoo? And I said, it's great. We're just hanging out, going to see zebras next.
Uh-oh.
And she says, well, I'm watching TVG that you left on at the house, and I'm looking at you
And there
at Santa
you are.
Anita. And I left the TV on at home.
Can I say something? You didn't learn your lesson from that newspaper thing.
I know.
You didn't.
I know.
See? And then what did she do? Was
But
she
let's
mad
go to
at you?
she was fine. But my daughter was only 3 at the time. She comes home and she smells like cigarettes. And
Mommy, it was fun.
And so my wife picks her up and she smells her hand. She goes, wow, she smells like cigarettes. I said, well, I think she picked up a snipe, at the track. She's fine. She said, well, but she smells like, both her hands smell like cigarettes. I'm like, well, what are you saying? Are you saying that I, at 3 years old, let her smoke at the racetrack? I said, she picked up a cigarette like kids do. She played with it and she threw it down. That's it. But if you can pick 5 out of 6, then screw UBN and KFI and all that crap.
Screw 'em all, babe.
Screw everything. If you can pick 5 out of 6, we are in the money. Why would you not go again?
I will. I'm not kidding. This is I'm serious. We'll even record ourselves with our phones. I will go with you. We could bring John or anybody else who wants to tag along, but I'm very good at looking at it and sizing up the statistics of that particular jockey horse. I don't even know what you call it. And then just call in the race.
I go to a sports bar out near Santa Anita. And that's where I handicap a couple hours before the race. And the bus boys and the waiters and the owner, they always come up and say, who do you like? Who do you like?
Well, that's your problem. You're drinking before you go even pick them.
Not a lot. But I don't give them any horses because I don't want them to lose their money. They work very hard for their money. So one day, a bus boy says, who do you like? And I said, don't put life-changing money on this, but I like the 8 horse in the 7 race. And he says, okay. The place disappears. Everybody takes off. So they combined all of their money.
Oh, no.
And they put $1,000 to win on the 8 horse in the 7 race. It wins, and it pays $24. They're all loaded now. They all have, literally.
Did I hear that right? It pays $24.
For every $2 you put in, you got $24 back.
Okay.
So they put in $1,000. They got $12,000 back.
Wow.
And they're happy as hell. They're drinking. They're singing. They're going crazy. Now, every time I go there, all they do is ask me, "Hey, when's the next big one? Who's the next?" And I can't tell them that it was just one. So I said to my dad, I said, "How do I get these guys off my back?" He goes, "Give them another 25 to 1 shot. That'll get them off your back."
Does Dad go with you to this stuff? Because I know he's the one who got you into racing as a kid,
yeah,
right? So he also dragged you around when you were 3 years old, right?
Yeah, I was. I remember. I have a picture of myself with my dad at the racetrack, and I was only about 2 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
my daughter's first words were, "Come on with this 3.
Yeah.
Come on with this 3."
See how these early lessons really take hold?
That's
You know
exactly
what I mean?
right.
It's really true.
And that's where I got ding dong from at the racetrack.
Ding dong.
If there's 8 horses, 10 horses in the race, and 2 of them separate from the pack, and they're running down the stretch, and the other horses are way in the distance, you'll hear the old timers say, there's 7-8, 8-7, 7-8, and with every stride there's a new winner. You'll hear the old timers in the audience go, "We got a ding dong!"
There, so
that's
there
what's
you go.
fun.
So when I go, that's what I'll have to say.
That's what you got to
we
say.
got a
Come
ding
on.
dong,
Let's go.
that kind of a thing. All right. So I don't even have tons and tons of time with you. So let me get a couple things. Segments. Can we play? You have like a couple segments that are sort of regulars on your show. You've got what the hell did Jesse Jackson say? We're going to play that in a second, right?
Yeah, we've been doing that for about 18 years. We
Name-
had him on the air, and what we do is we take.
And he didn't walk out? Were
No,
you nice to him?
we take clips of him and we play it on the air, and we ask the audience what they think Jesse Jackson's saying, and if they're right, they get a prize. But we had him on the air. We called him because we stole his cell phone number from Jim Brown, not the football player, but Jim Brown, the announcer on Fox, used to do the NFL.
Yeah.
So we looked through his phone and we stole Jesse Jackson's phone number. So we called Jesse Jackson.
I love this.
And we have him on the air. We said, "Hey, Jesse, can I play a clip and you tell me what you're saying?" And he said, "Okay." So we play the clip.
Oh, so he went with this. I love it.
Yeah, he didn't care. So the clip was, "I want to say an important thing," but it sounds more like, "I don't say an important thing," right? And so we played it for him and said, "Hey, Jesse, what are you saying here?" And he says, I have no idea.
That is hysterical.
It was great.
You have a couple others. You've got. I love this one. Name that effing tune. I think that's
well,
great.
yeah, it's name that. Well, you sort of don't do that as much anymore. It's we did all the songs where the name of the song was in the first 2 or 3 words of the actual
nobody
song.
could get it right. They were like, well.
Right. Yeah.
Like you
we
got
did
that.
it for old timers. We did it for senior citizens.
You got that love and feeling. What's the name of the song?
Right.
I don't know.
Here's one for you. Here's a trivia quiz for you.
Oh, no.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You remember that movie, right?
I think.
Okay. Where'd the kids go to high school?
Ridgemont High.
Yeah! One of the very few people to get that.
I just got terribly nervous just there. See? Where's my applause, Tony? Mr. Tony. We have a huge studio audience in here.
Ding dong with you.
All right. Let's go hear about... Let's hear a real quick clip from What the Hell Did You Say?
It's time to play the game we've waited for all week. It's when we get to hear
our Reverend Jesse Jackson speak.
So listen close, we won't derail.
That's a long intro.
What the hell did Jesse Jackson say?
That's what people say. Yes.
Yes, it is time again for What the Hell Did Jesse Jackson say?
We've been doing it almost 18
Everybody
years.
enjoys this, right?
People like it.
We play
Even
Jesse
Jesse
clips,
likes it.
and you have to figure out what the hell he's
funny.
saying.
Yeah.
It's being brought to you by our good friends at Mountain View Chevy, mtvchevy.com.
Hey,
for more
look at
Talk about
that.
those bucks, baby.
Get a new 2017 Camaro LT automatic for $21,999, saving $5,896.
That's beautiful.
Limited quantity
Love
per
it.
model for
You
savings.
drive one?
And see
I
dealers
do. I
for
drive
details.
a Camaro.
A couple ways they can play.
Chevy
You can
Camaro
just
that I
sit at
bought
home and
there.
listen to the radio. That's the
At
easiest
Mountain
way to roll. You can go online on our Facebook, facebook.com/.
What do you drive, by the way?
Jackson say
Maserati?
And I guess there's a couple thousand people playing in there.
It kept women.
No big deal. Just
Hell no, I'm the one who brought the money to the relationship. It's true.
Originally.
Also,
Not now,
at
though.
Conway Show
After 3 kids,
on
no.
Twitter, all you 23,343
you come from money?
followers.
Not at all. Italian, blue
And
collar.
Bellio, you're doing
tough.
a great
Did he
job
come from
on,
money?
on Facebook.
Worse.
You get an ad girl. What are we up
Really?
to on
We're
Facebook
both pretty
for
broke.
people
Oh,
I
liking
got made it,
us
though.
or
I got a
liking
funny
That's
story for you. Oh, my God.
facebook.com/Conway Show.
Hey, where is Jesse Jackson?
Almost
It's coming up. It's about a half hour.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Hey,
so
when you
let's
came on, we were at
talk about how much
15,000,
money you
right?
have.
Yes.
For 12
No,
You and
I want
John.
to hear this
15,000,
thing.
we're
This
going
is
to
the
get like a
craziest
bonus
thing
or
ever.
something.
Wait a
Right.
minute.
And you blew it up.
It really did.
There's a fashionista in the house.
Thank you.
Oh, it's Bellio.
Yeah, that's
That's
not
Sharon
People could
Bellio.
like the
Yeah, that's not
page
Jesse
right
Jackson.
Big
now.
shout out for
And
Bellio.
let's get to
And
34,000.
Mondo,
That would
Bender.
How close are we to 34?
Mark
be about
Thompson, Angel
250
Martinez.
away.
Love
Ah,
Mark.
that's too big a
Love
deal.
Mark.
What?
We'll
We're
do
good,
that in a
good
couple
friends with
months.
Mark.
You, is that right?
Can I
Yeah,
get a
I worked at Fox
fashionista?
11 when he was there.
Fashionista.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the
Please, I'm big
house.
time.
In the house.
I didn't know.
All right, let's get
Yeah,
into
you didn't
tonight's
ask what I did
clips.
out here.
There you go.
Here we
After
go.
like 20 minutes of an intro.
Here it's
Rabbit
clip.
deer, 11, a shot to one of the White House. But these time, it's bad law. Wolf less reviving the battle. Now engulfed by
Oh, my God.
Great
The
clips.
age. I think
He
we have
does a
giveaways,
show
too.
every
I think we
weekend
have
What was he
on the
saying?
Word
By
Network.
Schultz.
I don't know.
Go team go.
He does a show on the
love
Word
this.
Network every
I love
weekend.
that. He is,
on
well,
Saturday and Sunday.
I think he walked away on John's show once. He was interviewing him for something, and he
Oh, is
just
that
got
right?
so pissed off, and he just walked out of the show. Now, I'm not sure if they were on location or if they were in the studio. He was so angry. See, he was nice to you.
Yeah.
You got to know how to treat your guests is what it comes down
Gallagher
to.
walked off our show. We
Really?
had Gallagher on one night, and he said that he was responsible for. He's part of the fabric of America. That that his comedy brings people together. And my partner said, "Well, with all due respect, you smash watermelons, and people wear plastic sheet to keep the watermelon off them."
I always got no sense of humor.
And
So
he
who are some of your
split.
favorite guests that you've had?
George Carlin. We had George Carlin on, which is pretty cool.
Wow. I'm sure that would have been a dream for John.
Oh, that he was
Wow.
unreal. As a matter of fact, we had George Carlin on, and he stayed with us for an hour. And he said, and I told him, I said, I have all of your videotapes. This is before, DVDs. I said, I have all your videotapes except for what am I doing here in New Jersey? And he says, oh, that's cool. Literally the next day,
He sent it to
at
you.
my home, an autographed videotape from him to me, autographed at my house.
Wow. So he was stalking your home.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and
well,
we've had his
that's
daughter
incredible.
on. His daughter, you got to get his daughter on
What's
here.
her name? I don't-
Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I will. I'd like to. Is she doing the same kind of thing?
She has a book that she's written, and she.
I like authors. I love
look,
having on
she
people who
has some of the greatest stories ever. When she was 7 years old, I guess her mom and her dad both did coke, and they couldn't find it. They hid it in a bookshelf, and they couldn't find it. So they wake her up at 8 and say, "Hey, Liz, you got to help us find our cocaine."
That's a fun house.
It's great.
So you loved having him on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I need to have you back on because I have a second guest coming in, and
Who's the second guest?
Samaki Walker.
That's cool.
He's a great guy. We almost couldn't find him here at Sunset Gower Studios. I'm like, go find the man.
He's like 8 feet tall,
You can't
right?
miss him. He's 8 feet. I mean, he's towering over everybody. Go find him. So he's waiting for us in the green
All
room.
right,
But
that's great.
No. We have a little time. So, no, not yet. So I know that you've enjoyed having on, Arsenio Hall?
Arsenio Hall used to come on with us every Wednesday.
I love him. I got to
He
get
was
him on.
great.
Too. I kind of like the old guys. No offense, because
He was pretty cool.
He's the best. I
Yeah.
think he's great. Carrie Kasem.
Carrie Kasem has been on.
She's become a friend of the show. I love her. She's another one who's a friend. Yeah.
When Arsenio Hall was on, somebody told me this off the air, and I asked him on the air, and he sort of got uncomfortable with it because he doesn't talk about it a lot. But he has put 10 kids through full rides of college, and he does it on the side. He never tells anybody about it. He put 10 children, 10 kids, 4 years, room, board, education, school, supplies, everything.
I know that about him, and a lot of people don't realize also why he sort of stepped away from the business is to be with his own kid.
Right, yeah.
You know,
he's got a great son.
He's a great guy.
Great
He's
dad.
got a great kid. I guess another one I've got to get on. Leno always subs for you, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, Leno comes on with us. Jay Leno is great.
I got to tell you something about Jay Leno. I have so much to talk to you about. We're going to have to go to that racetrack, go to dinner,
Let's go.
and then have you back.
Jay Leno is great. You got to have Jay on. Have you had him on?
Okay. Will you help me? Because I know
sure.
you like me.
Yeah.
Jay,
I'll just come in and do Jay.
Would you do that?
Wait a minute. Come on your show.
We know Jay fairly well, right? We all kind of know each other. So I called him the other day. I said, will you please come on my podcast? He goes, well, I got to go on Adam Carolla's first. I'm like, are you kidding me? I said,
is that right?
Yeah. I said, what's the competition between me and Adam Carolla? You've got like 2 people listening to me. And
I'm going to use that in the future.
Yeah.
I'd love to do
And
it,
I'm
Deborah,
like,
but I got to go on Carolla's show first.
Well, no, he actually put me in line. He was very honest. Leno's a good guy, and he would if he
He's
didn't want.
great.
Yeah, and I believed him. He goes, look, I have 7 podcasts who want me on. I promise as soon as like number 6 or 7, you're the next one. I'm like, I'm counting on it. So if you see him later tonight, whatever, you call him.
He calls us all the time.
Yeah, no, I know. He calls John all the time, too. He's like, he knows everything that he's talking about. He'll go, I heard you today at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. The best introduction he's ever done.
I don't think he does anything. I think he just listens to you guys all
I think
day.
he's with his cars. So, he's in a garage.
He's tinkering.
Alone, and he's got to have something on. He can't watch TV, so he listens to radio.
Yeah, and he's probably like, oh, my God, like John's wife wants me on. But tell him, like, I got a little bit of chops that I could handle him.
My favorite introduction he ever had was he was having the band on 5 for Fighting, and so he introduces all the other guests. He's like, I got Harvey Korman on, and we've got 5 for Fighting. I don't know why that has always stuck with me.
I love him. I think
he has some of the greatest jokes ever. Here's one of them. In Alaska. It's in Alaska, it's like 45 degrees below zero, and yet you go into a Thrifty and the ice cream is still soft. I don't know how that happens.
You do him well.
Thank you very much.
So you do impressions too for a living.
Just Jay and a little bit of John.
My John?
Yeah.
Oh, is it grumpy? Go ahead, do. I always.
Yeah.
When I do him, I'm like, because he always sounds so like that. So let me hear you do it.
Okay. God damn it, Deborah. I told you I'm never going to do this shit again.
No, he doesn't do
I just
that.
swear at you.
He doesn't. No, John does not swear. I'm the swearer in the family, and he's pretty even keeled. He's actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean.
So he gets it. He's like a hockey player where he gets it all out on the ice.
Oh yeah.
Hockey players are the nicest people in the world.
Yeah. The only thing is, and I tell him that all the time, he does have a second marriage. You know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does.
What's his second marriage?
His iPad.
Oh,
because
okay.
he comes home all day and night, and he's just married to it. And I'm like, would you please?
That's great.
Look up. I'm over here. So, the man reads a lot. He's a smart guy, but you got to know how to handle
And now
him.
when you have your third son leave the house, you guys got to talk to each other again.
I'll just come on your show.
Yeah.
I'll do yours, and we'll just figure it. But, I was a correspondent with CNN. I was Fox 11. And then when I came out here after that little tiny station in Atlantic City, I was doing Fox and it was on CNN. And I don't necessarily want to go back to network television. I want to figure out what to do with this thing. And
Right.
then,
Why don't you go back to network television?
I could. I absolutely could. And actually, I'm still sort of on the books there because when some of the reporters are gone, I'll get the call. Deborah, you want to come in and work for the day? And
That's great.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, you go in to do a little Trump bashing and come home.
no,
What the
I
hell?
don't. I don't do that. He was good to me. I didn't vote for him for my own reasons.
Right.
But
Did you vote for Clinton?
I did, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't necessarily think she would have been the better president.
Right.
I needed to put one in for the lady.
There
I'm
you
sorry,
go.
I did.
One for the
because
gals.
I did. I would like to see a woman in office before I'm dead. And
Do you think you will?
I have to. If not, I'm going to run. So we're just
Okay.
going to have to figure something out. No, and that's why I did it. I'm not that impressed with Trump so far. I'm sorry. I'm telling
Wait,
you.
what are you
I'm-
talking about? There's like turmoil? What's going on? I haven't
Wait,
read the newspapers.
No, it's actually been a divide a little bit in our marriage. We've decided we cannot talk about politics at home. because
Really?
I will get.
You know, I thought that's how you get along, though. You get one person who's Republican, one's a Democrat, and that's the
Well, see,
people
that's
that have the best
thing.
marriages.
That's the thing. We're neither one. He's not a Republican. He's more of a libertarian, and I'm neither. I'll just vote for the man or woman.
Right.
So
So you'll vote for a person just because they're a woman?
I did that time. I did. I'm not going to tell you I thought she would have been a better president.
But isn't that defeating the purpose
Yep.
of getting a woman in there?
Yep.
The,
was the only one they get- she was
superficiality
the-
of
Yep.
voting for her because she's a woman.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm a fairly smart kid.
That's great.
You know, I can pick my horses at the horse races, but I want.
All right, let's go to the track.
They didn't give me anybody else, so that's who I got. But I swear, I have to let you go. Isn't
All
that
right,
rude?
that's fine.
But I think you're having a good time
I love it here. I
Are you
really
having a
enjoy
good
it.
time?
But I am
I'm
going to
really
the
glad.
track. Del Mar is where they're running right now.
You're going right now to the track
Well,
before you go on the
I
air?
could slide down there. No, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're running
My
Wednesday.
goodness,
yeah.
this man. So when do you go? Because we need to pick a date, and we're going to have a date at
Well,
the racetrack.
why don't I go and then you can send me your picks? How about that?
Hell no, I want to go too and bet some money. Now that I have a little bit.
I don't know. I don't normally like to go with people who don't know a lot about the track. No offense.
None taken.
But it's a whole day of explaining shit. You know.
Oh, see, I'm very easy. You could just leave me on my own, and I'll just text you my picks from the other.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm
There you
pretty
go.
low maintenance. I don't need
Okay.
to like hang on your shoulder. It's like you can leave me alone. You can even tell me you want to leave me alone. It's
Oh, that's
okay.
great.
Yeah, no.
Does John do that?
No.
Leave me
we-
alone?
We get along pretty well. We do. We get along
right?
well. Yeah,
That's good for
very
you.
well. We've been together a long time.
Are you going to downsize? You're going to get a condo
I'm
on
gonna
Beverly Glen?
downsize with him.
Yeah.
But put him out to pasture. But I don't know what we're gonna do. I have no idea what we're doing.
I enjoyed this. I like
Yeah.
it.
Did you
Got to
have a
give a
good
shout
time?
out to Sharon Bellio, who's probably watching right now.
All right, who else? And
Mondo.
How about a shout out to your show, like the Tim
Mondo.
Conway Jr. show? Is
my-
Dad watching, by the way?
I don't know if he is or not, but my beautiful wife, my beautiful daughter, Sophia and Jafer, huge shout out. Or Raise the
Yay.
Roof. Is that how you do it?
Yeah. Thank you so much for being
Aaron
here.
Bender, Mark Thompson, and Angel Martinez. They are
Yeah.
the ones that make the show. I just show up and talk. But if it wasn't for them, I couldn't do this.
See how nice you are. I never say thank you, so I'm going to do it now. Thanks, Misty. Thanks, everybody. Miranda, Sam, everybody who's on this thing.
Misty has
Tony.
Misty has more than I do. I have right now. I'm going to show you this. I want
my
you to read
God.
this number on the air. All right, I'm going to show you how many unread emails I have.
So, Monkey,
all right?
I'm really sorry. We're going to get you in a minute.
How many emails?
40,000.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to see mine, sweetheart?
40,393.
And then I swear to God, we got to go.
All right.
Here, would you like to look at mine down here?
Oh wow.
Go ahead.
95,023.
That are
wow.
unread. That are unread.
You're
don't send me an email. I won't find it
Wow.
because no, that's another day, another story.
You have really beat me. I mean, you are really into fuck it.
It's a. I'm very popular. Everybody wants to get a hold of me, and for people
That
who,
is unbelievable.
Excuse me, for people who matter, you text me. If not,
Yes,
you're
text
going to
it.
be on the 95,000 list anyway.
Bellio! I know she wanted me to do that.
I had a great time. Tim
Yeah,
Conway
thank
Jr.
you so
Thanks
much.
for being
All
here.
right, thank you very much.
Big kiss and hug
Thank
to your dad. Will you do that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I'll do that.
Bye, everybody. See you
All right.
next week.
Good night.
Bye.